So the 2DS XL just was announced.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I don't know why either.
Jonah, do you know why?
Of course I know why.
Okay.
I think it's just to say that 3DS is not going anywhere. Because, you know,
well,
we're
3DS
talking...
isn't here anymore.
That's
it's
true.
the 2DS XL.
No, it's still a thing. It's a new model. It's a new model. And I think it's going to actually compete with the 3DS because it does everything the 3DS can do, but without 3D.
I mean, I think it's the same market. I don't really think it's competing with each other. If anybody,
it's $100 cheaper. It does the same thing, but without 3D.
That's true. All right. And the other competition, the real competition is like the Switch, you figure, right?
I don't know, because the Switch and the 3DS have two different types of games. Like, the 3DS is much more simpler and focuses less on the graphics.
They should have just made one. They should have just incorporated backwards compatibility with the Switch, with the DS, 3DS, so this thing wouldn't happen, and we would have all the games we want.
John's going to really die on this hill.
Better. What?
You're going to die on this hill.
Not dying. I'm living. Strong.
The dream.
So, like, when people play 3DS games, they don't usually use the 3D feature on the console.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
No.
I hate it.
Most people don't.
And with the new Pokemon game is barely even used 3D, only in, like, specific cutscenes.
Oh, yeah.
So,
they were slowly moving away from it then, I guess.
So it's slowly been going away.
I feel like that messed with my eyes, by the way.
You have to get it perfectly positioned.
It gave me a headache.
The new versions, they actually fixed a lot of the problems that they had with the stereoscopic 3D, so it isn't as harsh on your eyes. But like when you were playing, like I remember when I had the 3DS and I was trying to play Zelda Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
That game was not created with 3D in mind, in the sense of like the visual 3D.
Yeah.
And it like even with the 3D like midway and stuff like that, like if you moved it a certain way, it just strained your eyes.
You felt like the
that game was just
migraine start behind your eyeball.
Yeah, that game was just not designed for that type of a situation. Like I said though, but when they did do the new 3DS, 2DS, XL, I guess.
The XL, the bigger one.
That they did adjust some of the problems they did have with that. But now it's just going to be gone. And I have a feeling the only way you're going to get a 3DS now is if you are going to get the 2DS XL. So I think that's going to be the
3DS hasn't been in stock in a while.
No, I haven't seen them. Like I've talked about it before. Like I haven't seen them in Target. I haven't seen them in Walmart. They haven't been anywhere to be found since like before holiday.
Kind of like the NES Classic.
Shut up.
Burn!
Here we go.
No, I'm not talking about
it. It might be a way to just phase out 3DS and start manufacturing a 3DS, but cheaper because nobody uses the 3D anyway. Yeah, so that's the 2DS is like the replacement for the 3DS.
Oh yeah,
I absolutely agree with
honestly, that. I would buy a 2DS XL over a 3DS because, like I said, 3D is always a gimmick to me, even in movies. I think the best 3D movie I saw was Avatar way back in the day because it was built all those years for 3D versus things that just get converted to 3D, which a lot of 3DS games seem to be. Because, like you said, you have that one spot where it's perfect and then you move it. And when I'm playing on a screen, I don't want to be trying to get the 3D look, and I'd rather just have like a normal 2D, what I'm used to, I guess, without having... I mean, it was good that you didn't need 3D glass or anything.
The great thing about them doing the 2DS XL and making it cheap, too, is that there's a lot on the Virtual Console already. So, obviously, you have the new games for 3DS, and they're going to have some Fire Emblem games and stuff like that come out. They're having the Pikmin game come out. But again, with the digital console, not digital console, the virtual console, you have a bunch of Super NES games now. So you have Super Mario World, Super Mario World. You have, I think, Yoshi's Island, Mega Man X, and all that other stuff that can be brought with you on that the Switch can't offer yet because they haven't added the virtual console.
Super
Switch yet.
Metroid.
Yeah,
which is fantastic.
Yes. I mean, it's all portable. So, and for $150, you can't really go wrong with it.
Yeah. Now, Chris, what do you think? I mean, you had a DS, not the 3DS. Now, what are your opinions on the 2D versus the 3D, I guess?
Well, I'm in the same boat as you. I think the 3D... Well, my problem is the 3D gave me a headache. Like, I just couldn't, like, play it without being in pain after half an hour. So,
agonizing pain.
I hated it, and I turned it back, and I kept my... my other one, which didn't give me an aneurysm.
Well, that's good. You don't want one of those.
Those
aren't fun.
Nope.
The like I said, I mean, Jonah, did you have a 3DS?
Yes, I still have a 3DS.
You still have the 3DS.
I actually have the new 3DS XL because I still like the 3DS a lot. I haven't played it in a couple months. But
you've had both then.
I used to have the regular 3DS XL, and then I'm upgraded to this one.
Yeah, I mean, I've had the 3DS, I've had the 3DS XL, I've had the 3DS like a bunch of times just because I can't, like, stop trading stuff in and all this other
He's
stuff.
addicted to the trade.
The one thing I wish that they did do with this, like, it's fine that it's XL, but I always like the smaller DSs and 3DSs because they fit in your back pocket perfectly.
Well, that's the thing. I
like
mean,
this thing's like
right.
bigger,
Also,
and you have to get a case or you have to have something with you. Like I had a 3D, like I pretty much went from the XL down to the 3DS at one point because I could stick it in my back pocket and go with it.
Right.
With the XL, it could probably fit in your pocket, but it's not going to be comfortable.
Yeah, no, I can't.
Isn't that what portable gaming's all about?
Well, that's
though?
the idea,
like,
right?
To like carry it with you without having accessories.
Yeah.
Also, one thing with the 3DS, the regular 3DS compared to the XL, is that I think the image is crisper because for the XL it's spread out.
Yeah, they spread out the
Yeah.
actual the imaging of the
And
video.
it doesn't look bad, but it's not as good as it would look on the smaller screen.
Right.
Yeah, and that's why I like the other one better. And like I said, just for the portability factor and the actual overall look of the game itself.
Now, what do you think of the $149.99 price point?
It's fine.
It's good.
You think
Yeah,
it's
I think
fine?
good.
It's
Yeah,
good.
for $150, you walk out with a really great handheld with an amazing library.
Yeah.
I mean, 3DS has been around for a long time at this point.
Mm-hmm.
It's still going strong. Nintendo knows that it's still part of their money-making business.
And what's good too is they have the compatible games that
Yeah.
they have the 3DS
Yeah.
games where you could play them, the 2D versions on
Yeah,
them.
and I think the console itself looks really cool. There's just the looks of it and everything else like that. I think it's a cool looking console. It's just going to be really interesting where they are with the Switch now. What does that mean for this? Like when do they cut the cord and say, all right, we're not making any more 2DS games, we're not making any more 2DS XL games, or whatever the case may be. We're going to just focus everything onto the Switch, or do they keep going with this dual path? Because I get it, like with the Switch, it's big. You know what I mean? The battery life isn't great. The 3DS XL, you're gonna get at least 6 hours, 8 hours of play, depending on what you're playing.
I feel like the Switch is really like, I think it's a gimmick that you can take it with you. I feel like if they just stuck with the console and the TV combination, they would have been in a much better situation.
I think the thing with that though, a lot of people that I've read and heard, instead of playing it on the dock and taking up the living room that no one uses as a living room anymore, they like to just chill on the couch with the Switches and handle.
Now, I witnessed that too, and myself having children, like, if you throw something up on the TV for them to watch and you don't want to watch, like, Thomas the Tank Engine for the 9 billionth time.
The same episode.
Yeah, you play your handheld, and, you just kind of keep an eye on them every now and again. But, I mean, like, yeah, I agree. Like, it's a great idea, but you're not really using it all the horsepower out of it. It's kind of like it's wasted. Really.
Well, that's why I think Nintendo's smart about bringing this out, and they had it planned out ahead of time.
Yeah,
but they wanted to do that because the Nintendo DS, 3DS, that that's a whole nother retail success on their end, and they didn't want to alienate with the Switch. Yeah. Plus, I'm sure it was a backup. Because they didn't know how
Switch was going to do.
Yeah, and I mean it's phenomenal. It's doing fantastic.
Yeah.
But they should not have killed the NES Classic. I'm just saying that.
But the last thing I just want to say with that is that it's interesting because like when you look at what they try to do with like the Wii U, and I don't remember if I've talked about it or not before, but they pretty much what the general idea of the Wii U was to pretty much have a big 3DS. Like you had the touch screen where you can do the menus and everything like that, and you had the screen on the TV that would actually be playing the game. The Switch you can't do that for. And I know I mentioned before, and then when that happens, if they're gonna ever want to bring Wii U games up to like the Switch that only has one screen, they're gonna have to rework it completely. Yeah. And I'm sure they can do it.
They'll probably have some sort of adapter.
Maybe. I don't even think they're going to need an adapter.
Well, yeah, that's just
They're just going to change the functionality. They're going to have to change the functionality of it.
How much are those damn controllers for the Switch?
A lot too much. About 75.
70
80.
for the Pro Controller and 80 for the Joy-Con.
Pretty sure
what are we
parts
doing?
alone are probably $20 to make those things.
Yeah, what are we doing? Why are we paying?
They needed to price the console at a certain amount, like $399, and it was too expensive to do that, or they would be taking a pretty big hit financially. So
they have to the console.
So they have to make everything else.
From what I understand, from what I hear, they were actually, as Nintendo does once again in the NES Classic and Switch, they were not meeting demand. So what they were doing is they were rush shipping them via airplane and losing like $45 like every system.
Because fun fact, when they actually do ship games and stuff like that from overseas, it's all by boat actually. They don't ship anything over the airway.
Yeah,
it's just cheaper to ship it by boat, and they ship it out 2 weeks out, It goes gold. They manufacture it. They ship it right through on open waters across the world, and
the black market.
and then that's how they save their money. But yeah, I read the same story. Like by them having to send it via plane,
yeah, it costs
them a lot more money than they would have liked to spend.
Yeah, well, that's just the way it is when you have a business. You have to look at the bottom line, but we're getting screwed on the back end of paying freaking $80 for accessories. Come on.
Yeah, but I mean the reason why they were sending it over is because the Switch demand was so high, and they had to start getting consoles to the market so they could sell Mario Kart with it.
Yeah.
So that's why they ended up having to spend the money so they could have actually consoles to sell, so they can be like, hey, here's Mario Kart. Yeah. And they can play Mario Kart.
And I like Nintendo's excuse for these things. They're like, well, we look at things, how they are when we're building the stuff, and then when we ship it out, we always just lose track of demand, and we just.
I don't.
It's always 100% of the time. It's always. They're underestimating it, so I'm pretty sure this is by design.
We just don't want to make too many.
I mean,
it'd be a big problem. We had too many of those.
Just make enough.
Well, that's the thing. Honestly though, I do think that at least in this case, I don't know if they were really expecting the console to do as well as it's doing so far.
Why would you make a product without having expectation it will do well?
Because of the Wii U.
The Wii U.
They've had some hits. So they need to play it safe, or they're going to lose a lot of money.
3DS too. Let's not forget when 3DS first came out.
It was
too expensive. It was a lot of it was viewed as a gimmick. They had to take like a $40 or $50 price cut like shortly after to try and sell it.
That's
now
their
it's
fault.
fine.
That's their fault.
Absolutely, but this is the reason. This is the history. And this is the reason why they held it back.
And like you said, if you look at it too, Nintendo, this was their last chance to really stick with the market because they were, at that point, if Switch wasn't a success, they would.
They're the next Activision.
Exactly. They would either have
the next EA.
Hopefully they would end up just, I guess, making games for third party if they want to stick with anything.
Yeah, and I think I'm glad Switch is doing really well. I think it's great, but I don't know, at a certain point it depends on what they do. But I still feel like even with the Switch's success, I feel like eventually we could just see them just make games.
Well, that's like you say, they create false demand. So people are buying them now because they think they're not going to be around.
Yeah.
Listen, it's not the NES Classic where it's going to be there. And
it's
then,
really not going to.
Then next week they're going to be like, "Sorry, we're discontinuing it." It's
but that
it's going to be around.
Yeah.
It's going to mold into something different. I'm sure. New docking systems are going to come out. New accessories for the docking systems that you may be able to play your DS games.
Yeah, but it's going to be $80 for.
No, it's going to be $180.
Oh, okay.
That'd be a really cool idea if they had an accessory. It's like a little drive or whatever that plugged in through a USB and plugs into the actual dock. That'd be awesome.
Super Nintendo had the Superboy, so you can hook up. You can put your Game Boy cartridges in there.
You're right.
They also did it for
cool.
Nintendo GameCube.
It wouldn't be able to be on the go though, so that's the only downside. Like I said, I've never really held the Switch yet, so I don't know if there's like ports around the side other than the power. Maybe, but
if they can some way make a virtual console where you can actually upload like a ROM, for instance, off the cartridge to the Switch, and then you'll be able to have it on the go.
Be interesting. Either way, I think at the end of all this, do you think the 2DS, them pretty much reimagining it and selling it is a good idea with what the market is right now for the Switch?
I mean, yes and no. It's kind of, a lot of people are kind of dead on the Switch. A lot of kids are going to be wanting the Switch. That's what all the cool big kids are playing these days.
Yeah.
You have the Mario Kart that just came out. That's a big thing. People are going to be wanting to play that online. People who have a 3DS, are they really going to want to spend an extra money to go back to a 2DS? So I don't know if it's just something as an extra.
Yeah.
And all this Nintendo mishmash.
Mishmash. Brick and brack.
Honestly, they should have just stuck with the NES Classic. That would have sold millions more.
Just tell the story.
Just tell the story. Tell the story.
Here's my story.
How much time do we have?
We have 4 minutes.
All right.
Tell your story.
So, I had a chance to get almost the very last stock. I think it is the very last stock because I haven't seen anything pop up. And I've been hunting since November. A lot of times, though, they've been coming out during the weeks where I had work, so I couldn't go stand in line. Because, as you guys know, the NES Classics pretty much never hit the store shelves. They came in and were gone by the lines outside. People who randomly found them, you don't know how lucky you are. People are like, oh, I just walked in and found one. You have no idea how lucky you are. They probably literally just brought them out as you walked in.
You should play the lottery.
Yes, exactly.
You're pretty lucky.
So, my story is, this past weekend, I had a chance to get one. I actually had a shady situation. I ended up going about an hour away because they were saying there was 2 in stock. No, 3 in stock. I get to the Walmart and I start asking questions. And every single person, workers, had a different story of what happened, of where they are. Some said they never got them in. Some said they haven't been in for months. And then some said they were sold already, but they didn't know who it was sold to. And every person said something different. So really, you know what? You know where they were? They were in the back waiting for the employee to get off of work so they can buy them and sell them for $300.
Could be the manager, too, for all we know.
It could be, because I called and I asked for a manager, and a lot of people... I didn't know this actually going to the store. I actually had to call when I got home, because I found out that a lot of stores are doing this, where the employees were hiding them, would tell people that they had none in, even though the stock said at least 6.
Yeah.
They would hide them, and unless you asked for either a manager or told them to pull out the scan guns that will show the actual in-store stock, people would just walk away. They're like, oh, I guess you don't have them in stock.
That's so shady.
Some people actually...
People do shady things when money's involved.
Really,
exactly. I've heard stories. I've heard stories where people actually asked for the gun and they said, "Oh, we don't use that system anymore."
Oh, you know that inventory management system that we all rely on? We don't use it.
The system that probably costs millions of dollars.
And then they would go get a manager. You know, the people that actually were really determined to do their stuff would get a manager. The manager would come over, get a gun themselves, look at him like, no, we have 6 in the back. They would go get the 6 and fire all the employees.
Wow.
Yeah, so I didn't make luck with that one, because I actually asked for a manager, like, oh no, we don't have it, even though the store online, like the site I was using, that's pretty accurate, says there was 2 in stock, which means
he was in on it.
Which means either it was stolen because it was never taken out of stock, and the manager was in on it, or something fishy's going on. Anyway, so that night at about 9 o'clock, the site I have refreshes. You can see what's like in Target and Walmart and Best Buy all through the area. So 2 pop up in stock in this one store. And I called the guy right away, and it's open till 12. So I called him. I was like, yeah, you guys got these in stock? He's like, yeah, we do. And I was like, that's fantastic. I was like, can I come get it? He's like, no, they don't technically go to stock till tomorrow morning. We got them in today. We scanned them, but we're not allowed to sell them till tomorrow. I was like, okay, is there any way, like, do you have tickets or something I need to get? And he goes, no, you just got to be here early. I was like, all right, based on what you know of with lines, how early do you think I should get there? He's like, just get first. I'm like, what?
It's not an answer.
Now.
So he's like, if you're here by 5, you'll be all right. So I'm like, okay, I'm leaving my house at 3:30, because it was about a half hour to 40 minutes away. So I leave my house at 3:30. I'm booking it down there. I'm the only one on the road, and there's cops everywhere, so I can't go too fast.
There's cops.
But, so I get to the store. There's 1 guy online, and there's only 2 in stock. So I'm like, this is great. I get out of my car. I start walking over. I see the team of Target people outside the door, the employee door. So in my mind, with what's going on with everything, I actually asked them first. I stopped by. I walked to them first and go, hey, guys, do you have a Classic in stock? Do you have any in stock? It says you guys got 2. They're like, oh, we're not sure. So, because I was waiting to be like, oh, no, yeah, we don't get those in stock. And I was waiting to see that sort of thing. So as I'm talking to them, some lady drives like 50 miles an hour into the parking lot, like right in the, like next to the handicap thing, right next to the guy. I turn around and she starts getting out. I start booking it and she starts booking it, and she beat me by 3 steps to the line. She looks at me and she goes, ha, no resale. And I'm like, what? I was like, how much? I asked the guy, I was like, I'll give you cash. Like, how much?
All that running you did in high school. Just get eaten by a woman.
So, basically...
That needed to get a birthday gift. A mom, probably, right?
The worst thing was, all I had to do was get out of my car, not even care. Like, get myself in line, which I should have just did. Just walked right behind the guy. And then I could have, like, yelled to the guys or called them on the phone and be like, hey, listen, do you have any of these in stock?
Let me ask you this. Did she park in the handicap zone or right next to it?
It must have been, like, the guy himself, I think, did, because I think he needed it, but I think she literally parked right next to him. I think she was in it.
Was it in a handicap spot?
She might have been.
Because if she was in a handicap spot and it wasn't a handicap, you should have called the police.
Yeah.
And had her car towed. And then your problem would have been solved.
And then, like, sorry, too bad for you. So I'm sitting there, like, I have no idea what just happened. Like, I thought I finally had my chance to get one. Like, I thought I had my chance. And within, like, not even 20 seconds, it was just blown. Like, I was like, this cannot be happening.
Yep.
And I was just... So this is 4 a.m. I didn't get any sleep at all. And I'm just like, I literally just messed that up. Like, I could have just went straight online instead. I just wanted a triple short because I didn't want to stand in line for maybe 5 hours to find out, Tom in hardware or bought it or something like that. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to make sure they had it because of all the horror stories. And so yeah, I messed up. And what really sucks is it's like if I just had one less red light, because there was actually a turn, you go on a bridge and it's a 1-lane bridge, but then you make a left and that's a 2-lane bridge, but it's very tight. And a truck was coming and it took up the whole thing. So I had to go past it. Instead of my GPS having me just turn around real quick, it wanted me to do a loop. So I thought, okay, maybe it's going to have me go a different way now since I missed out. And maybe that was just like a couple seconds shorter. So it actually wanted me to go back in the opposite direction. So I got halfway that way and said, turn around and said, screw this. And then went that way. So if that truck wasn't there and I was able to make that left, I would have had enough time to ask the guys and walk right online.
There's no happy ending.
There is no happy ending. Like, I am so pissed off.
This is the kind of story that'll haunt you for the rest of your life. You keep thinking about it. I could have done that.
So I had a chance to get one of the last retailed price NES Classics. All I wanted to do was put it on my shelf and have it as a collector's item. And now I either have to pay $200 or $300 depending on the eBay seller or scalper.
That sucks.
So
guys, if you have a similar story, leave it in the comments below. We'd love to hear about your NES Classic horror story.
Or if you have 20 NESs that are just hanging around, you can just send one to John.
Send it to P.O. Box. Send
it to Johnny. He really deserves it.
We don't have the P.O. Box. Just make sure that everybody knows.
Just email us. We'll get in touch.
But guys, yeah, that's my story.